First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone where I learned his truth, and also to those elect that is scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great and powerful lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type D lesson is Black Swan Event, a new global financial system. So I'd like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope to help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I put in a quick Google search of what is a Black Swan event. And it says, a Black Swan event is a highly improbable, unpredictable, and unpackful occurrence that is often explained away in hindsight, so as if it were obvious. So right now we seeing, we constantly been seeing it in social media, in the news, that they're getting ready to switch over. They're getting ready to transition into a new global financial system, which in fact is the beast banking system. Is going to be backed by what? Blockchain technology. The men of the Lord, we constantly been warning you about this left and right. And also we seeing that Revelation chapter 13 is coming alive. It's at the end it shall speak and not lie. So right now, we constantly seeing that, it could be some type of event that will take place. A Black Swan event is very unpredictable. It's very very impactful. A lot of people, is going to be, everyone on the planet is going to be affected by it. So we already know right now, they putting this new digital infrastructure into place, even though that will sound like a broken record, but man, it's right at the door. So also we seeing the end of the dollar. The dollar's getting ready to be obsolete. Also we seeing that the BRIC nations are on the rise. So we seeing right now this transition period that is taking place. Also, it's already rumors by October saying that they're going to have this system online. So we're seeing right now all the test runs are over. Now they get ready to put it into place. So we're seeing right now that it could be some type of financial economic collapse, or it could be some type of cyber attack. Whatever event it could be, it's going to be unexpected when you're not watching, when you're not aware. So right now, we're constantly been warning you about, you will not be able to buy or sell. We already know the main goal, the ultimate goal is that grain of rice, the RFD microchip, which in fact is the mark of the beast, shall go into your right hand or your forehead. That's what we constantly been warning you about. So we at the beginning stages, we are more one step closer than ever to the MOTB, to the CHIP. So that's what we constantly warn you about. These stable coins, or this CBDC. It's going to work hand in hand with this RFD microchip. Once again, that grain of rice. That's what we're constantly warning you about, left and right. And no one is going to escape this time. It's called the hour of temptation, the hour of testing. We're very close. So it's going to be a Black Swan event. So let's get a few more examples of what a Black Swan event is. Let's drop down here to examples of a Black Swan event. It says here, this one here was the 9/11 attacks. It's a terrorist attack with massive global impact that was difficult to foresee. And one thing about it, we already know we're not ignorant of Satan's device. We already know how that went down. We already know that they caused the chaos and bring forth the solution. And this one here was the '08 financial crisis, a global economic meltdown, so with far-reaching consequences. So we already knowing about the recession in '08. And also we knowing about the one back in I think it was from 1929 to 1932, the Great Depression. So we already know we coming upon a great crashing in the hill. And also it's already rumors of a Black Swan event. Also it's rumor of the collapse of the dollar. We constantly seeing it every day, this dark forecast that is coming upon us. We already know when the dollar go, all hell hell is going to break loose. And we're seeing right now that these things are fast approaching. And right here, this was the test run right here. This C-19 pandemic, a global health crisis with unprecedented impacts on economies and society. So exactly what's getting ready to happen. It's getting ready to affect everyone on the planet. We already seen they already have it in place in China. Also, we know that they're going to kick it off in the UK. Australia is getting ready to be global. You already know what they're doing in Sweden, with the chip. They already had the chip already. So this technology has been here for some time. Now they're getting the green light. And also we know that DJ Donald Trump, he's only a puppet. He's pushing this NWO, total control. These draconian laws are coming into place left and right. They can call it a lockdown at any given time. They can say it's a cause of this, it's a cause of another outbreak or an economic collapse, or we're going to have to do this, or we're going to have to do that. So we coming upon these times. So we're seeing right now that Donald Trump is constantly signing these executive orders. So he just signed one into place. We'll probably get that video after a while. It's a homeless act whereby they are going to see if anyone be on the street. They're going to put you in a asylum or a facility, or anyone that have what you call mental health problems, or if they're mental challenge. What I mean by that, they're not going to have any what you call these undesirables on the street anymore. So we already know what this is all about. Deportation. Not deportation, depopulation, Salakia. So we know where they're going with this act. So a lot of people gonna go into these facilities, or these asylums, or these FEMA camps, and they're never going to come back out. So we already know that many shall be taken in a great number. So right now it's more talks more than ever about a Black Swan event is getting ready to take place in the middle of the Lord. We constantly been warning you left and right about all these impending dangers. And also we know we're coming upon a cashless society whereby it's going to be digital, programmable, and also implantable. That's just where we at right now. These things are fast approaching. Also in the news, the C-19 is on the rise again, and also they're saying about this new variant, a new virus, Nimbus, if I'm not mistaken. And they said it's on the rise, and also a measles outbreak. So we already seeing how they are lining up. We already know the playbook from 2020, what I'm saying, when they brought this C-19, so all this is coming back into play. And also we know that the hokey pokies are coming back into play, that juicy juice. We know that that's getting ready to come back in play too. That digital download that is going to work hand in hand with the CBDC, this new money, and also with that grain of rice. So we seeing these things are being full circle now. It's more obvious and clear that we're here. You know what I'm saying? These things are already right before us. A new global financial system, which in fact is the beast system. They are putting it in place right before our eye. The mark of the beast. It's getting ready to affect everyone on the planet. No one is going to escape, because it's going to be the Lord judgment. And one thing about it is that, if you consent or if you submit, you will be trodden underfoot. And also we've been seeing a lot of major layoffs. We already know they're setting the stage for this AI takeover, also transhumanism, and also the internet of bodies. You know what I'm saying? So you see how we getting there. We seeing these things are right before our eye. It could be the end of this year. They're already saying about these governments are switching over in October to a cashless society. It's time to wake up. It's time to seek the Lord, because one thing about it, it's coming to pass. We see it. We're very excited. We're ready to get the hell out of here. So now, let's get this disclaimer before I start the day's video. No, first, let's go here first to, let's get this quick precept first. Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 12 said, "For a man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in a even net." And said, "And as the birds that are caught in the snare or a trap, so are the sons of men snared in a evil time when it falleth suddenly upon them. So that evil net, it could be a black swan event, it could be a what you call a red dawn event. So either way that it go down, they already got this plan. It's already been engineered and manufactured, but by who? Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. The so-called white man is only doing the bidding of the Lord from the left-hand side. The Lord is in perfect control. So let's read this once again in the NLT. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 12 said, people can never predict when hard time might come, or that evil net, or that evil time. Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation, also a great economic collapse, and also that MOTB. It said, like fish in a net or birds in a trap. People are caught by sudden tragedy. So that's what's getting ready to happen, So that's giving you some example of a black swan event that's going to be unexpected when you're not aware, when you're not watching, when you're have a sense of normalcy. So this is the quiet before the storm. You already knowing that all these nations around the world are getting ready for this transition, this reset, which in fact is going to be digital, programmable, and also implantable under your skin. It shall go to your right head or your forehead. We sounding like a broken record, but man, these are the times that we're living in. So we're going to start today's video, and after the video, we'll start the lessons, and once again, I hope that you will get edified. But first, let's get this disclaimer right quickly. Let me pull it up first before we start today's video. You already know how these devils get down. Let's see where that disclaimer at. Let's open it up right quick if I can find it. It look like it just totally there it is right there. It says here, fair use. Let me see, can I get it scratched out a little bit more? It said fair use disclaimer. It says here under the section of 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for the purpose such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. The copyright laws of the United States recognize a fair use of copyright content. Section 107 of the U.S. Copyright Act states, said, notwithstanding the provisions of section 106 and 106A, said the fair use of a copyright works, including such use by reproduction in copies of photo records of or by any other means specified that section for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, or research, say is not an infringement of copyright. So I just had to get that out of the way because I'm gonna show these videos, and you don't want to get a copyright deal. You already know that the famine of the word is coming. Also, this is for educational purpose only. So one thing about it, we already know that we're here. We know that the Lord is going to bring forth the famine of the word. We're seeing right now they don't put this Genius Act into play. We know right now the devil's getting ready to fill his belly, his agenda, his plan, which in fact is what? Total control, one world currency, one world government, one world religion. So we right upon that. So when we get around to it, look up Project 25, look up Project Esther. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, there's a lot of interesting things. And one thing about it, the men of the Lord, we constantly warning you about that. You have been well warned, warning before destruction. So now, I done talked enough. So then let's start today's video. And after the video, we will start the lesson. And I hope that you will get edified. So let's start up the first one. It's about 4 minutes. I got to find it right quick. I think it's, this is here. We're going to start this one and we'll go down the line. And we'll start it up right here. Here we go.
Probably start on a Friday. The banks will announce a security action necessitating their computers to go offline all weekend.
Digital money will disappear. They can just steal your money?
Followed by the detonation of strategic electromagnetic pulse bombs to knock out major grids.
What will seem like an attack on America by terrorists or Russia.
I believe there's going to be a false flag event, and they're going to be locking down our money.
It sounds very real to me, Gerald. It really does. It's amazing that you brought that up. Yeah, people, it's a frightening prospect. What do you do?
And why would you keep your money in the bank anyway?
No,
they're not giving you anything for it.
You gotta be nuts. I tell you, no, that's the last place.
They're not giving you a penny. They're making money on your money. Why keep it there?
I know.
Why are you giving them your money for them to make money on when you're not making any money on it, and they'll lock it down like that?
What a scheme, right? What a scheme. It's true.
And all this in order to usher in the new financial system. Something has to break before they can introduce a new system. Simultaneously, while all this craziness is going on, we have some very interesting developments out of the UK. I'm sure most of you already know and have heard that we have a new Prime Minister of the UK, which is Rishi Sunak. You have to keep a very close eye on this guy. I've said this before, and he is an advocate for CBDC adoption and for Ripple. Not to mention, he's also a puppet of the World Economic Forum. I personally believe he's going to be the one to begin the switch to CBDC adoption as the UK financial crisis worsens.
In the UK, earlier this year, I announced a new joint task force between the Treasury and the Bank of England to look into a potential CBDC as a complement to cash and bank deposits. We're also hearing from firms, technology experts, and others. Under the leadership of the UK, this report today will help support and inform exploration of CBDCs in the G7 and beyond.
If I'm right, and I think the signs are everywhere that we're heading towards a different monetary system.
What is money? What's the value? What is a store of value? And I'll tell you right now, it's not Bitcoin. Well, for those that don't know, the biggest change to our financial system in 50 years is actually going to occur this November. All international payments are moving to the blockchain, ISO 222. And many investors out there, like us, are looking to reap massive returns as this 50-year-old international payment system moves onto the blockchain, beginning of November 2022. This is part of what we know as the ISO 222, a single standardization approach that's going to be used by all financial standard initiatives. And some of these blockchains that meet the criteria are XRP, XLM, XDC, IOTA, and Algorand. Everything we've been talking about is gradually playing out, and I'm very excited to see what happens next.
IMF bailouts at a record high right now. Everybody's going, yeah, we wouldn't mind an alternative currency to the US dollar. And for the global south, those that are not in conflict with each other, like the West, Russia-China Act, for the global south, the Indias, the Brazils, the rest, they would love to have a separate alternative trading currency where they can choose to trade with both. They can trade with the US dollar or trade with that, whatever that thing ends up looking like. And that, when it happens, and it will happen in some way, and I doubt it's going to be by consensus. It's going to happen. It's going to be forced upon the US dollar, and then things will change, and the US dollar will lose its status as the supreme dominant currency.
We're even starting to see Ripple ads show up all over Wall Street. This is also happening in London, where the new Prime Minister is already pushing for CBDC adoption. As always, we need to keep a close eye on the central banks and the geopolitical issues, because that's where we're going to find the right indicators that may give us some insight into what can come next.
Question: would you let someone implant a microchip into your hand if you would receive $2,000 a month in return for getting a chip put in your hand? You heard me right. We'll give you universal basic income, basically. 2,000 euros, $2,000 a month, if you allow us to put a microchip in your hand. That's exactly what's about to happen as part of the rollout of the central bank digital currencies. It's a carrot for them to rope you into this mess. We'll get to that part of the story in a minute, the chip implantation process, not the corn chip, as Dan said in our chat, but a actual metallic tracking chip. But a new report just published this week by the Bank for International Settlements explains how our new digital money system is about to work. We've been warning you that this was coming for a long time on this show. Also, we weren't the only ones predicting this. It was predicted in a little book, you might have heard of it, called The Bible, The Mark of the Beast. For one thing, this is how this new system would operate. According to them, the Bank for International Settlements, the new reserve currency, forget the dollar as you know it, basically. This will be the new reserve currency, which is how they want to label it and how they are labeling it. This would be used to settle all transactions. As everyone moves away from the US dollar right now, this seems like perfect timing to be moving to this new system. Here's
a little bit far-fetched, and you might be thinking that this kind of authoritarian control over your money is not going to be anything that we'll see in the future. Unfortunately, this is already implemented in the world. In China, the government is already able to program what its citizens can and cannot spend their money on. Over the last few years, they've limited millions of people's ability to buy things like train tickets, passports, and luxury goods. They're able to do this because of China's intense social credit system that links each person's identity and actions to their bank account, allowing the government to see and to control everything a citizen does with their money. And it seems like the West is paying attention. In nations like Sweden, South Africa, and Canada, trials of programmable central bank currencies are already underway. In fact, almost half of the world's nations are at some stage of implementing this kind of programmable money, meaning no matter where in the world you live, this technology is likely only a few years away. Okay, so how does programmable money tie in with the personal carbon limit? Well, it all comes down to whether or not you've gone over your monthly usage. And if you have, there are two possible case scenarios for that. The most openly talked about penalty for a person going over their individual carbon limit is that they'd simply get charged for doing so, just the same as what happens to large companies today. Taken too many car trips this month, or bought a little bit too much meat? In that case, you'd simply get a bill at the end of each month from your government, so you can pay the price of being a naughty citizen. As your entire carbon usage would be tracked by a government CBDC, there would be no way to hide how much carbon you've used. And since they now also hold the keys to your money, they won't even need to send you a bill for your excess usage. Potentially, they'll just automatically pull your fine from your bank account.
Cash is to be abolished and replaced by a digital currency. This will be allocated to or taken away from every person in the world, who can then also be found anywhere at any time via various tracking systems.
When Elias Brotberger goes to work, he doesn't need ID, and he doesn't need money. In fact, much of what he needs to get through the day is hidden right there, just below the surface, in his hand.
You like to touch it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, weird. Yeah, it's like a grain of rice.
Yeah, a grain of rice.
Embedded in his hand is a microchip that serves as his keys, his ID, and his wallet.
Yeah, it's all on chip, so I use it like to get around the building.
Buy snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's buy some snacks. Exactly. So I can't open it.
No.
Okay.
So what I need to do is I need to first blip my chip, and it will log me in, and from there I get access to the fridge.
Popular TV shows like Black Mirror have imagined chips as part of a dystopian future.
Install in-grain procedure with local anesthetic, and you're good to go.
In Sweden, the microchips are already here.
The microchip implants use the same technology that's in contactless credit cards,
which have made cash pretty much obsolete in Sweden.
No cash.
At this tech fair, a chipping event for those on the cutting edge, merging their hands with this new technology.
I thought it would be fun, right?
The process is simple and swift. A pinch of the skin, and in a matter of seconds, the chip is inserted. The transformation is complete. As for the pain,
I barely felt it.
But even in this nation of early adopters, not everyone is racing to get chipped.
Feel less human. I will feel like a robot.
I think, so much more data can go into this, when it's in your body.
There's no central registry tracking how many people are chipped, but biohacker Hannes Wellblood estimates between 5,000 and 10,000.
In the future, do you think everyone is going to be chipped?
I think it'll be voluntary, but I am certainly convinced that millions of people will find it very, very valuable to have a smart device under their skin.
Human microchipping may be our future, but in Sweden, it's already reality. Sarah Harmon, NBC News, Stockholm.
So the ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one-world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers, and they're doing it in sections. The European currency, the euro, and the European Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And they want to create a new currency called the Amero, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is getting me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip. And you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do, what
everything.
You sell.
Everything is in there, you know? And so they want a one world government controlled by them, everybody being chipped, all your money in those chips, and they control the chips, and they control people, and you become a slave. You become a serf to these people. That's their goal. That's their intentions.
Eric, can you be specific about when you met Rockefeller, how it happened in these discussions?
So now we'll start today's lesson. We'll start here, so we are very close to them transitioning into this new global financial system, which in fact is the beast system. And it also all road leads to that grain of rice, the MOTB. It's what we've constantly been warning you about. So let's start here first in Isaiah. Start in Isaiah chapter 36, quick lesson through the Spirit. And once again, I hope that you will get edified. Time is now. We are running out of time. We're seeing right now we're more closer than ever. Our salvation is at the door, man. We cannot wait. We're rejoicing. We're almost out of this nightmare. Isaiah chapter 36 and verse 6 said, "Lo, thou trusted in the staff of this broken reed, said on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, so it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him." So one thing about it, when you go into this at low, you trust in this staff of this broken reed. It's talking about this system, this broken system that they get ready to put in place. It's not going to work. They're trying to be, he tried to stay in power. He got bounds that he cannot pass. So one thing about it is, if you trust in this broken reed, this system that they're putting into place right now, that's going to be backed by blockchain technology, 5G, 6G, technology, and also is going to be dealing with your biometrics, AI, robotics. A lot of these things are coming into play. Social credit score, also universal basic income, all these things. A lot of people is going to do this right here. It says, "Lo, thou trusted in the staff of this broken reed," this system on Egypt, modern day Egypt, what is America. And also we know that Egypt is work hand in hand with the house of bondage. So right now this is modern day Egypt, if you can receive it through the Spirit. And one thing about it said whereon if a man lean, if a man trust, if he depend, say it will go into his hand, under the skin. You understand what I'm saying? That grain of rice, say, and pierce it. You know what I'm saying? That scratching, that imprint, that charagma. It says here, and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. And out about, we already know in the modern day Pharaoh, it's the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, and anyone that trusts in his system, what he has to offer, this new global financial system, this new beast system that they're putting into place right before our eyes, which in fact is going to be total control, have you under full surveillance and also monitoring. left and right. This technology that coming into play. They already have these 15-minute city. They have these FEMA camps. They have these guillotine. Everyone that trusts in him, will be your shame and your confusion. That's what we're constantly warning you about, left and right. A lot of people going to get it in their right hand or into their forehead. We're knowing about the Neuralink, make you see again, make you walk again, make you smarter, going to make you a walking device. That's what we're constantly warning you about. So now let's go to the main menu right here. Let's go here to the Revelation chapter 13, because this is where we at. We seem like we go over these things left and right, but it's the spirit. You have been well warned. Start at verse 15. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 15 said, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. Said that the image of the beast should both speak and call that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So that's where we at right now. This devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. And one thing about it, we already knowing who had power to give life to the image of the beast. We talking about what the WEF, the WHO, the World Health Organization, and many others. They are putting these things into place right before our eye. Make America great again. All this and that. And it said, and that beast is the revised Roman Empire. So we seeing that the mystery of iniquity do its already work. And in the image of the beast is this system that they're putting into place. This genius act that they're putting into place. You know what I'm saying? It's going to work hand in hand with this new money, this new CBDC, the stable coin, but it's nothing stable about it. It's going to be unstable. All hell is going to break loose. And then if you're not want to be a participant, if you're not going to get it under the skin, it said here that you should be killed. That's why they have these guillotines into place. These all different ways that they can unalive you, so they already have these things into place. So, either you accept or you will be unalive. But one thing about it is all the judgment of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Verse 16, he said, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, and to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So one thing about it, we know that right now it says here, he causes all, both small, great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark to Karagma, so which in fact it's going to be a global event. So it's going to affect everyone on the planet. So one thing about it, that's what we're coming upon left and right. That's why all these governments are getting in position for this new global financial system, which in fact is the beast banking system. They're putting it into place right before your eyes. And out about it, that's what we're constantly warning you about. So let's go here and look up the word mark. He goes over left and right. Let's get it right quick. Let's do a quick deal of it. It's always good to go over things over and over. Got to be repetition, because when the Lord bring it, there will be no more talking. And one thing about it, we hoping and praying that we're part of the hopeful elect, that the Lord come to deliver us, Lord. How long? So let's go here to G54:8. Let's go here. It says here, the Karagma.
Strong's G5480. Charagma.
Karagma. So it says here, it says a stamp, a imprint, mark. You know what I'm saying? It says, so it's pretty much, that it's going to be a physical mark. A lot of people talking about a spiritual mark. You're in for a rude awakening. It says here, let's go here. It says, a mark branded upon horses, but this right here going to be a branded upon you. It's going to be a branded incision. Let's see what the strong definition says about it. It says the Karagma. It says here a scratch or etching, stamp, a badge of servitude. Or see, that's where we at right now. So hey man, these things right here are obvious and clear. Men of the Lord are constantly warning you about this. So exactly what all road leads to is that grain of rice. So let's go into the etymology. Let's go into this one here. Let's go to this one here. Carax.
Strong's G5482. Charax.
So we seen in that last to the second to the last video, whereby they show you the applicator, the syringe, the deal that they apply that grain of rice with. So that's what this is going into. It says here the root word, the etymology of the karax. It says here what it says here. It said to sharpen, to point, a kid. It says here, the online biblical usage said a pail or steak or pastel, a pastel or wrapper. So right here, it's getting describing you of a syringe or a needle. You know, that's all we're gonna get on that. So we don't want to go too far. So let's go here to G1125 right quick. Let's get this one here. Grapple. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it says here, this is going into pretty much the internet of bodies, or going into data, or going into transmitting and receiving to make you a walking device. So that's where we at. A lot of people took that hokey pokey, that digital download, and it's going to work hand in hand with the new money, and also it's going to work hand in hand with the RFD microchip, which in fact is the mark of the beast. It says here to write with reference to a form of letters. See what else we got here. It's another definition I was looking for, but it's pretty much it's going into data, information, tracking, surveillance. These things that's what it's going into. So right here, D, this is the one I was looking for. To write to one. Said by writing in written epistle to give information, direction. So pretty much, transmitting and receiving, making you a walking device. Bluetooth, you know what I'm saying? Making you out of damn Wi-Fi. So, that's all we're going to get of that. So you pretty much get the deal is that transhumanism is going to work hand in hand. So the main goal is they trying to mass man and machine together. And one thing about it, he's in for a rude awakening. So let's go back out and read that once again. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16 says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark of the charagma in their right hand or in their forehead. So we're coming upon that time, that Neuralink going to be working hand in hand with that RFD microchip. All these things are already here. The technology is right before our eyes. Verse 17, it said, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark, the charagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So this right here is going into your buying and selling transaction. You will not be able to do any of that unless you take this under your skin. It's going to be digital, programmable. It's also implantable once again. So that's where we at right now. No one will be able to buy or sell. It's going to be dealing with barcodes and QRC code, scanning, tracking. You know what I'm saying? These things are coming upon us. Biometrics. Verse 18 said, here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 600, 666. It's going into trichi-stigma. You know what I'm saying? One thing about that etching, that imprint. You know what I'm saying? That badge of servitude. And one thing about it, we already know what this is all about. Hey man, we're here, man. Let's get a little bit. Let's go into the interstellar. There's a couple more precept I can bring out, but we're going to, we pretty much just going to get it, just a little bit of it, because I done brought it out in many other lessons. Let's see where it's at, where I want to get it at here. I think it's G50, 5516, if I'm not mistaken. It's right here. It's a chi-stig stigma.
Strong's G5516. Chi, xi, stigma.
So this
chi, xi, stigma.
So this right here is going into, going into the internet of bodies, going into that badge of servitude, whereby, the Roman soldiers, they put a tattoo or branding on their soldiers so they'll know what platoon and different things like that. So right now, this is here, they're going to know that you belong to that system. So if you take this, this mark, you're going to be a part of this man's system. You're bowing down to an idol, and you will be totally destroyed. So, it's other verses I want to bring out, but I don't want to make it too long. Tri-stig stigma. So, it's other things I can bring out with it. And also, it's going into that the metaverse. So it's a lot. It's a deeper sense that we can go into. But hey, we're gonna leave it right there, and I'm hoping that you can receive that through the Spirit. So right now, this is where we at. And who has this wisdom? Let's read this once again. Say, here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding. Who has the understanding? The true men of the Lord, starting with the prophet, also the true believers of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. Wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of the time. It said, count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 600, 666. Tri-stig stigma. So that's where we at right now. That's what this man want to do. Put that his badge of servitude upon you, make you a petrol slave. He won't total control, but he's imagining a vain thing. They want a reset, but the reset, what is coming, is the kingdom of heaven that dwells in righteousness. So now let's go here to our last and final script. Let's go here to Habakkuk chapter. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2. We'll close out here. Habakkuk chapter 2. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. We're going straight to the point. Because we're seeing right now it's speaking loud and clear. Habakkuk chapter 2, if I can get it to pull up. Habakkuk chapter 2, we'll go straight to the point and Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. Let's go verse 3 right here. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. It said, For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So right now the vision is for an appointed time. That time is now. The vision, the prophecy, the signs of the time. It said right now it's speaking loud and clear. There's no more vain divination. It's not prolonging anymore. Even though the Lord says he's long suffering, but one thing about it, as it is written, it shall come to pass. So right now we're seeing it's not tarrying anymore. The Lord is getting ready to make it good. We're seeing right now that these prophecies are speaking loud and clear. And one thing about it is that, we're seeing that the end is being manifest right before our eyes. So let's read it in NLT and we'll close out. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3 said, For the vision is for a future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. Said it, if it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. So that's exactly what we're seeing right there. It will surely come to pass. We're seeing these things are lining up left and right. We constantly warn you about these things are coming upon us. We're seeing that Jacob's trouble is at the door. We're seeing that World War III is beginning. It's brewing. Over there in the Middle East, these prophecies are lining up like clockwork. We're seeing the lower minute is waxing cold and cold. And also we know that they're getting ready to implement the mark of the beast. And one thing about it, we know that once again, we know that they got to implement this grain of rice before what? World War III, the last and final war, right before the great and glorious return of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. It is at the door. So right now it is speaking loud and clear. It's not lying. It's not prolonging anymore. It is here. It is at the door. So our salvation is very close than we yet believe. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is Black Swan Event, a new global financial system. So I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Rikah Kwadash. I like to say Shalom, Shalom.